Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I'm Army Piper. We're looking at all this data today, guys. Green continuing on the daily. We've also got, a little bit of a pump continuation. We talked about this yesterday on the show right there, keeping well above that 200-day simple moving average, guys. We got PCE data that came out this morning, plus some labor market numbers, and we're going to be looking at all that and a whole lot more today on the Morning Market Report right here on Piper Academy. Let's get it, guys. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you all. And if you guys are just getting here, this is the Morning Market Report. We break down the economy, the headlines, the charts, the technical analysis, so that you guys can have knowledge, because here at the Academy, knowledge is profit. Let's go ahead and bring up my co-hosts. I got the Trade Fly. I got the OC guy. They are both in the house. What's up, fellas? How you doing?
What is going on, my crypto fam? It is good to be here in the morning. I'm feeling nice and refreshed. Actually got a little bit of sleep last night. Doing it big on a crypto nightcap still. Hope to see you guys over there as well. But I'm going to go ahead and get into the comment section and give some shout outs here. And I got Kyle Fields with a yo, Ninja Glock. Let's go. What's up, my dude? Harp, how you doing? Alexander G, best mind in the house. Hope you're doing well, my SoCal lady. Username is in here. Hey, username, I got something for you, bro. Hopefully this comes through.
Sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
That's for you, dog. That is for you. I've been waiting to play that. I couldn't do it last night. I was having some audio issues. But
I love
here
it.
we go. Mike Play, how you doing? Crux of Crypto, my guy. Hope all is well, my friend. And Clay, the great with the hootie hoo. How you doing? Bright Star intern. I don't know what you said, but you retracted that one. Come on back, baby. Eric Wallen, how you doing? It was good to see you in the chat the other day. Retro Mike Tech, my man. How you doing? Hey, go check him out. He's got a great channel. If you guys want to know all your alpha on mining, check this dude out. He's wicked smart. Amy Lives Crypto's in the house with the orange hearts. Hope you are doing well, my friend. C90 for the win. Lunar Beaches Crypto. Let's see some waves in the chat. And Buck, my dude, my Marine. He's crushing it. How you doing, dude? And that is it. Let's go.
Boom shakalaka.
Love it. It's Friday, man. It's Friday. I'm feeling the vibes, feeling the markets. Looking pretty decent. I think this weekend we go into the weekend with a pump. I think if we get any pullbacks, it's not until Sunday for the weekly candle close. But I want to remind people, today when we close the CME, depending on what happens this weekend, we could have a new CME gap too. So that's something that we're going to definitely be looking at on Monday morning. OC guy, how are you doing today, bro?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I just was passing by over to another channel today where I have beef with. I don't know if you have heard, but we've been kind of like us talking to each other, and that is the Mr. Otter. He thinks he can get me on Halo 2. So we're gonna be just hitting each other out in a competition that we're building up. But he made the big mistake that he said that he can take us all together at once. So it seems it's gonna be like 50 against 1. We'll see how that goes.
I think that's going to be a good matchup, but I got to give him a shout out to RMT Retro Mike Tech. He said he's celebrating the 1 month of his membership. So it's a super chat from his membership. So shout out to you for 1 month, man. Thank you for being here. And he says, shout out to the host of the #1 show on Piper Academy being on the #2 show on Piper Academy. Let's go. Let's go. Shots fired, man. Give me some shots fired, Trade Fly.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does.
You know what I got to say.
Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Let's jump into the news, guys. We got to do all this news stuff, break down this PCE data that came in this morning, because it wasn't bad, but there's some things that weren't great in it. But I think overall it came off as decently bullish. At the market open right now, we are getting a little bit of pullback on the hourly, but let's jump over to the news, see what we got here, guys. Welcome to the news, brought to you by Decrypted.tax, guys, the trusted tax official in the crypto space. Give Ernest a call. Link down below. You'll get 25% off if you do pay him for his services. If not, you just need a free consultation to figure out if you even need a crypto accountant / crypto accounting lawyer. Then you get a free consultation. So it's worth it either way. To check that link out down below. Looking here, guys, at the Fear and Greed, we are at 61. We are sitting in greed right now, not quite yet to that sweet spot that Crux likes. He likes that extreme greed. That's indicators for him to take profits. So, but sitting at 61 right now, looking at those crypto bubbles like I was talking about, guys, here on the daily, still quite green. Jump over though to the hourly, and you can see there's quite a bit of red starting to come in. Shiba Inu and BTT BitTensor are still holding up a little bit there. Let's go down and check out these prices, guys. Bitcoin holding $65,481. Ethereum is at 26.49, and you can see that Ethereum up 1%, Bitcoin up 1.8, Bitcoin continuing to outperform Ethereum right now. Even on the pullback, not as strong on Bitcoin as what we're seeing there. BNB down 0.86% on this hourly pullback, up 2.4% for the daily. Solana's up 2.7% on the daily at $156. I know we're going to get some Solana Soul Train TA from TradeFly today on that one. Doge, guys. Doge is being talked about by FD White on the Crypto Nightcat show for a hot minute. And it is it's absolutely doing great. It's up 7.9%. The memes taking a rally off of this move on Bitcoin, and that is where everyone is flowing back into right now. Toncoin sitting at number 9, up 3.2% on the daily here and holding well on the morning open. Cardano's up 2%, neutral on the morning open right now, sitting at about 40 cents. Avalanche up 5.2% on the daily, sitting at about $29.96. And there's Shiba Inu, guys, absolutely ripping it off on the daily there. 19.1% to the upside, up 2.9%, even among the hourly pullback. Near Protocol continuing to see a little bit of pullback after that massive 25.6% rally for the week, sitting at number 17 at $5.51. Litecoin wrapping out the end of this, guys, at $70 a token, up 3.7% on the daily, starting to see a very slight pullback there on the hourly. Got to go down and check out Pepe, because we were just talking about the memes, sitting 16.1% up for the daily, down 0.04% there on the hourly. And Caspa coming in at number 25, moving back up another position at 16.8 cents, up 3% on the daily, holding a 1%, 0.75% up on the hourly. Yeah, that's the word. Line, please. Liquidations, guys, let's jump in here and take a look. On the 24-hour period here, 72,341 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $154.89 million. Largest single liquidation order happened on Binance. It was Bitcoin versus USDT at a cool $1.56 million. Let's get over to the economic data, because that's why you guys are here. What happened? We had core PCE come out this morning. This happened at 6:30 my time, 8:30 a.m. your time, about an hour before the market open. Was previously at 0.2%. Consensus forecast was that it would be neutral. We beat it, guys. That means inflation month over month came in lower. Personal income was supposed to be up a little bit from that 0.3, consensus of a 0.4%. The forecast of a 0.3% actually came in a little bit cooler than expected. So personal income slowing down a little bit for the month. Personal spending was expected to be higher, was at 0.5% for the previous month over month. They expected that it was going to be down a little bit from that, but still up 0.3% on the forecast, and the consensus actually came in at 0.2. That is good for inflation, guys. That means that people are slowing down on the spending, but it might have something to do with a little bit less income coming in also. Goods and trade balances that came out this morning also, guys. We were expected to be down $99.4 billion, came in $94.26 billion to the downside. Not as bad as what it previously was, but the goods trades balances is slowing down still. We're not seeing those imports versus exports really playing out to the upside very strongly right now. PCE price index for the month over month, though, guys, came in as expected on the consensus, beating the forecast, down 0.1% from the 0.2% at 0.1%. And then price PCE price index, this is the year over year, this is a big one right here, was 2.3% consensus, 2.4% for forecast, previously at 2.5, came in at 2.2, beating everything there. I got a little article here on it. We'll jump over and talk about that. August PCE price rise as expected. Income and spending see a growth slowdown there. Personal income rose by 0.2% in August, following that July 0.3 gainers, slower than expected of the 0.4% gain in the survey conducted by Bloomberg as of 7:40 a.m. this morning. Personal consumption expenditures were up 0.2%, below that 0.3% increase and much slower than the 0.5% increase that was seen in July. After adjustment for inflation, real PCE rose by 0.1% after a 0.4% increase in July, as expected. That PCE price index rose by 0.1%, right on expectation, slowing the year-over-year rate to 2.2% from that 2.5%. I want to remind you guys that the inflation target, the inflation goal, is 2% for the Federal Reserve. According to this data, we're sitting at a year-over-year of 2.2%. The price index rose by 0.2% month over month in July. That PCE price index, that also increased by 0.1%, below that 0.2% increase expected, and that followed a 0.2% gain in July. The year-over-year rate accelerated to 2.7 from the 2.6. So we did have a little increase there on the core PCE index for this year-over-year one there. On the year-over-year rate. The monthly report on personal income and spending is released by the Bureau of Economic Analysis about 1 month after the period that it is measuring, and that personal income is broken down into various categories, with the wages making up the largest portion. So when they say that people slowed down on wage growth, that is the biggest piece of that literally is wage growth, okay? Price measures in the report are closely watched by the Federal Reserve, particularly that year-over-year, which is the one that I just told you, came in a little accelerated. So I would say overall the data was good today, guys. It is pointed in the right direction, but I don't think it was as good as the Federal Reserve would have liked to have seen, especially after cutting 0.5% there. If we jump over here and take a look at the CME, you'll see, let me just give it a refresh here now that this data's in. Yeah, you'll see 53% chance now still of a November 50 basis point rate cut coming. And that, I think that is going to trigger some fears in people, to be honest. I think that doing a 50 after a 50 is a very rapid approach to the ground level, and that don't create soft landing. So I think that messaging, but again, like I said last time, they did 50 basis points. It said as long as Jerome Powell comes out and says data dependency and narrative is dovish, which is exactly what he did, then markets will likely take the bait. But we're going to have the same situation again in November. That's November 7th, if these numbers don't change. So if we continue to see this 53.4% chance here, I do think that is a 50 basis points are going to have to be accompanied by some dovish talk there. Let's see here. We'll get into that here in a little. No, we can talk about this. We'll talk about this for a second, guys. Bitcoin bulls assault 66K as Shiba Inu skyrockets 40%. We just talked about those meme coins, guys. It's been a very positive week for the cryptocurrency market. Total capitalization. There we go. Total capitalization managed to add around $140 billion and is currently at more than $2.4 trillion for a market cap. This comes on the back of impressive performances from many coins, but let's start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin attempting to push above 66K, a price that it hasn't seen since early August. This price, the past 7 days weren't without volatility, but at the end of the day, the bulls prevailed and are currently in control. That's what we're seeing there on the charts. Also, guys, on that note, though, Donald Trump has already shown his support for the industry and has praised Bitcoin on multiple occasions throughout the past few months. Kamala Harris was silent, but this too changed over the past week. So a lot of sentiment changing in the market prices, a lot of sentiment changing in how we look at Bitcoin. Let's jump back over to the trio cam. Let's talk about this data. Overall, kind of mixed. Really, the jobs data was not, or the employment income data was not great. The year over year for PCE did show a little bit of acceleration, but in general, everything else either either met or beat the consensus and forecast. Tradefly, is this are we bullish on the economy right now for a soft landing? I mean, I'm not bullish on the economy at all, but are we bullish on a chance of a soft landing? But you're the pilot. How's this plane landing?
So this reminds me of landing in the wind. All right. So it's all over the
Coming
place,
in
man.
sideways. Coming in sideways.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like you're getting gusts of wind here and there. Good data, bad data, good data, bad data. So you got winds are in limits, winds are out of limits, and so, but you got to land the plane.
Mhm.
It's hard for me to say whether there's going to be a soft landing per se. I would tell you what kind of is weighing heavy on my mind right now, and that's the stuff that's going on with China. So China's economy is kind of in shambles, right? They're in crisis mode, and there could be a trickle down effect because of the tight correlation between our economy and their economy. So that's kind of what's got me on high alert right now. So, personally, you've kind of heard me though. I've been trading the charts. I've been believing in the charts, and I had a trend, and I stuck with it through the turmoil, and so far so good. That's paid off for me pretty well. But now that we're getting to the top part of another major trend, that now has me thinking, is it time to take some profits and exit the swing trade that I'm in? So, we'll look at that, but it's hard to say, man. The numbers are manipulated. We've talked
Mhm.
about that many times. There's going to be revisions later on, so it's hard to try to make an assumption. What I go by is what's real and tangible, and what's real and tangible to me is everything is very, very expensive in my life right now. That's what's real and tangible. I do think there needs to be a correction both in the housing market and with some of the prices just of goods itself and services. I know people say like, "Oh no, it can never go down. And once they get you at this price, it can never go down." That is absolutely unequivocally false. Look at China right now. They're actually in one of their longest periods of deflation that they've ever experienced. So, that the prices can come back down. So, I'm waiting for it. I'm excited. I really hope that that is the case. I mean, I hope the housing market doesn't crash because that will hurt some people, especially those that got into the housing, probably in the last 2, 3 years because they've got in at a very high number. But I do think it's already happening, actually. The housing market is pulling back. I can tell you
Yep.
that. My wife's a real estate agent. That's facts. And there's a lot of deals now with new home builds. So, I
Yeah,
think there's little signs.
I just
Go ahead.
saw a post yesterday, I believe, on X that said 67% of American consumers that are in the age bracket that buys homes do not think that now is the time to buy a house. So, yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, and the rates are not going to fall very quick. I mean, today we did get a little bit of a pullback on that 10-year yield, which is what that 10-year treasury is what they base home loan mortgage rates on. And so there we do have a little bit of that pulling back, but I don't think rates are going to fall as quickly as people think. And if they're waiting on house prices to come down, that may take an economic reset. And we talked about that here on the show before, that if we have some type of recessionary thing or some black swan event, it could hit that reset button on the economy, bring a lot of those house prices down. But until that happens, I don't think that they're going to be very affordable. So,
the housing market, it's already starting to trickle down. Like, so there's going to be a point where people are then enticed to get back into the market. So it's just a matter of finding that medium, right? Right now, I think the housing market is a little bit high. That's a lot a bit high, let's be honest. And then as the rates continue to trickle down as well, you're going to find a point where people are interested and can afford to get back into the market. New home builds is, like I said, where I've been looking in particular because they're offering 4.75% interest rates right now with $20,000 towards closing. So
yep.
that is a lot more enticing. That brings what would be some of the homes I'm looking at are 5 grand plus a month now down to about 45 to $4,600 a month, which sounds insane, but in California, that's kind of normal. So,
Welcome to
that,
Cali.
yeah, but it's that I'm seeing signs and indications of it time now. It's just like I said, like right now, like I am now more enticed because the interest rate is being offered that is reasonable and there's money towards closing. So like I'm already enticed. So I think it's a matter of time before more of, we'll say, retail or the normal individuals are going to be enticed as the prices pull back a little bit. So I think it's a matter of time, but like you said, it will take time.
Yeah, for sure. It's absolutely going to. And I think that once that starts to happen, housing, home prices are going to have a threshold, right? That everyone's sitting around. No one's talking about that level, but they've all got that mindset of when it hits this level, it's time for me to go. Just like Bitcoin, it was $50,000 evidently, right? So hit 50K, hit 50K. That's where everyone's buying in, right? So houses are going to have that threshold also. Just so you guys know, even if we do get pullback, some type of things happen along the way on this cycle, guys. I just want to show here. Let me jump over here to this. There we go, right there. We don't hold my hand, TradeFly. You're too close. Look at here, bull market progress, guys. We're at 44.9% of the way through the bull market progress. According to Direct Capital, that's it. We're not even halfway through yet. Not even at 45% of the way through yet, guys. 44.9% of the way through the bull market. Still plenty of time for this to have pullbacks and pumps. So just keep all of that in mind. Let's talk about this real fast, and then we'll get into the chart, guys. U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs continue net inflow streak, reaching $365 million on that sixth day of pump in a row. Let's get down here. Spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds in the U.S. recorded total daily net inflows of $365.57 million on Thursday. It's the largest since late July. Thursday's inflows extended the positive run to its sixth consecutive day in a row. Yesterday's net inflows were led by ARK Invest and 21 shares, ARK B, which recorded positive flows of $113.82 million, according to the SoSo value data. BlackRock's IBIT, the largest spot Bitcoin ETF by net assets, followed by $93.38 million worth of net inflows. And Fidelity's FBTC saw $74 million there of inflows. So we won't read the rest of that. Just wanted to show you guys, record levels since July coming in on Bitcoin ETFs. So they're continuing to buy it every chance that they get, even at these higher levels. So, and that just because people are seeing the demand, right? They're wanting those ETFs, and so they've got to buy more of it up because they have to have it on the hand for that. So, even at these higher levels, they're seeing record numbers coming back in. I'm willing to bet that if we looked at where it was in July when they were buying that much, price was probably about right here, right? So they didn't buy here. They bought it when it was up here. They bought it again up here. No one bought down here. That was reserved for me and TradeFly. So TradeFly, you got it cheaper than I did. I got mine at 53K. You got yours at 50K. So congrats to you. Let's go jump into that Bitcoin chart. And let's see what we have going on over here, guys, because we do have a little bit of a pullback, and I want to show you that. And then we'll come back and we'll get some heat map from TradeFly and get some Bitcoin round out from OC Guy. Looking here at Bitcoin right now, guys, you can see I got everything turned off. Let me turn all that back on. Where's my beautiful, beautiful data here? There we go. Key overlays. We got my fixed range. There we go. Perfect. So we are sitting right above the platinum pocket right now, the 786 right there. Let's get those on. Perfect. Right now, this rejection that we have coming in, guys, we talked about this yesterday, about 65,600. This was the value area high off of this entire fixed range volume profile. Let me isolate it off and bring it back here, put this on the daily, and I'll show you exactly where it's at. There we go. And bring that down. Perfect. You can see it's this little gap right here in between the two volume nodes. And that is where that 70% line is coming in on the fixed range volume profile, literally where we're hitting right now. I do have a little bit of concern, a little pause that we are breaking on this level here, because if we get rejected on the value area high, guys, we are likely going to pull back down. Now, I'm not going to say like this is the typical norm. We pull from the value area high all the way to that point of control right there. I don't think that's going to happen per se right now, but we are getting that rejection on that value area high. And then the other point of concern that I have is right here above this. This is called the quantum reactor. And typically when this turns red on the daily and we reject off of it, it does not play well historically. We can go back and look at this. Let me turn off the moving averages. So we do have critical resistance sitting right above us, guys. I want to go back here and show you historically what it looks like when we get at this red. There's red. It led to downside. There was a little bit of red, led to all this downside. That downside move right there, by the way, from rejection to peak, it's a trough, I mean, is about 17.4%. Let's go back here. Rejected red came down. That pullback there from retest down is about 57%, guys. So you can see now, mind you, back here, we did have this one where it literally turned red about right here. And then that pullback. Oh, no, that is the wrong one. Can I get a measuring tool? Thanks. Where we hit that red, and then there was a pullback there of about 18%, but it was still an 18% pullback. So let's go to the current price level and let's do an 18%. Well, that's pretty much the average that was in there off of that red quantum reactor. An 18% pullback on this, guys, would put Bitcoin back at about $55,000, right back into the golden pocket. Here's why that's interesting. Right above it's our 786 on the platinum pocket. If we do reject on this and we pull back to that range, well, if you reject off a platinum pocket, your golden pocket typically is where you're going to go pull back to. So it would make sense to see that pullback rejecting off of that red quantum reactor on the daily, guys. And like I just showed you, like historically, that's what happens when you get a rejection off of this. Now, if we come back in and we break above this, then absolutely it's on like Donkey Kong. We're going to hit that 786 and very likely hit up to 73,887. By the way, that was the last top that we had for the all-time high on Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and jump over and see what you're seeing. I'm not going to dive too much into the oscillator because I know OC is going to slay it, but let's jump over, check out that heat map, trade fly, and see what you got.
All right, let's take a look-see. Liquidation heat map on the 3-day. You can see where liquidity is. It is right near price action right now at about 66K. That's kind of the hot spot on the map. But you can see right now, as we've been working up and right, remember, I'd like to follow the trend into the liquidity. So we had a trend going up and right.
Oh, real fast, trade fly.
What's that?
Real fast before you talk about numbers. That quantum reactor, 67,000. That pullback zone of the golden pocket is about 56,000. So 56 and 67. There you go.
Yeah. 56 is pretty far away from the price action. That's not even on this map, but 67 is right here. This is a kind of a dead zone, right? So not anything necessarily bad. It's just the liquidity is underneath of it. So that would kind of make sense if you're looking for a rejection there based on the quantum reactor at 67K. There is some liquidity for it to take when it's way up and then it gets dead, right? So one of the things that I look at is for it kind of to get beaten into submission. Where do we kind of lose that liquidity where people are no longer interested in, putting their stop losses or taking a leveraged short position in this case? That kind of gives me the warm and fuzzy that we may see a reversal. So that makes a lot of sense to see 67K, to see it kind of dark up here on the liquidation heat map. Your real hotspot on the map, though, unfortunately, is sitting at 62.6. Now, we have talked about that zone quite a few times, and that is pretty much in line with where if it takes this liquidity, I think the dynamic reactor is actually underneath of it somewhere around. Let's actually go to the chart here. Yeah, it's working its way up. It's about 61.1 right now. I think by the time it works its way up, it's probably going to be around that zone just underneath as an area of support. So keep that in mind. Definitely keep that in mind. Don't be surprised if you see a little fake out or a wick down to clear out some of that liquidity before it continues its move up. Now, as I was looking at the chart this morning, one of the things that I noticed is that, if you draw a trend line, a very simple trend line through here, and now this one goes kind of up and right just a little bit. Look at this, man. Support. You did have that came down through, but look at this. Resistance before a breakdown. Then it acted as support. Then it came up, retested, and now we're sitting there again. So this is something that I just kind of saw this morning. It's a little harder sometimes to not just take the highs and be like, okay, here's your trend line. Here's a breakout. Very, very obvious, right? But these are the ones, these kind of like intermediate ones that are a little harder to spot on the chart, but I think I might have found something. So we will see if you find a little bit of resistance in this area. Obviously, we do have, horizontal levels of resistance kind of in confluence with this area, but it's very interesting. Now, the good news is, and I think Piper already discussed it, is you got to close. You got over the point of control, over the 200 SMA, and now you're getting a close over top of the 65-1, which was kind of my line in the sand. So it'll be interesting to see if it does struggle with this trend line or not. I'm not saying it will have any bearing. It's just something I found on the chart that I found interesting. Okay, so be aware of that. If we do continue up and right, the very obvious level for me is a 2021 high and the value area high. So you only got about a $700 split. So I think you're going to have a range here, just like we had here. We had the dynamic reactor, the 200 SMA, as well as a horizontal level. You had a little bit of a range, and you saw an initial rejection on the 200 SMA, but then it finally made it above, and then it found resistance on the 65-1, that horizontal level. So ranges are a thing. Understand that it'll never be perfect, but keep this in mind. If the price does continue to push up and right, I think you will find resistance in that area. Now, one thing that I want to point out, I gave some good chilling to Chart Prime yesterday, because there was just, it was nailing some of these patterns with breakouts and smart targets. It's unbelievable. If you guys are newish, I highly recommend checking this out, because it finds the patterns for you. It gives you the smart target. It tells you, hey, this is where you should exit, and they've been hitting. Now, as you come down to the oscillator, as we've been in a range, this has been like an intraday, we'll say more of a swing trade paradise, all right, on the daily. All right, so we'll call it a swing trade paradise. Now, look at this. Flips, you get the reversal, all right, color changes, take off. Flips, you got the reversal, dumps. Flip, you got the reversal, takes off. Now, I would say actually this is the first time in a long while, that you have indecision, because look, it flipped, but then it flipped back to green. Now, I don't know if this is finished. It's probably not finished printing yet, based on there still being a candle close in 10 hours. But looking at that, this is kind of the first time you really see the indecision. But I mean, think about it. This thing is hit 1, 2, 3, 4 hits right in a row, if you were to just play a very, very simple TA on Chart Prime. So again, I highly recommend you guys look at it. It is fire. It has been crushing it on the daily. Sometimes you go back and you look at it and you're just like, why didn't I just follow the oscillator? I try to get so complex, and it's so simple. It's on the chart for you. You can tie these to alerts too. Whenever you get these reversals, you can get an alerts based on the reversals too. So it's set up, man. It's set up for you. Definitely to help out. In terms of levels, we gave you the 2021 high. If I'm looking at any kind of fall, like in price, if I see a pullback, you got a lot now. Just remember, we were talking about a lot of resistance on its way up. Now we got a lot of support on the way down. So you're going to see bounces probably in multiple levels as we work its way down. You got 200, that's back in play now. That's back in play as support. You got the point of control, which is very apparent. Look, you weren't getting closes under the point of control, so it got a little range of support. And then you have the dynamic reactor working its way up. So what I would hope to see is, over time, this dynamic reactor works up and you find confluence in this area at around 64 to about 63. That's kind of what I would be looking for in we'll say the medium term. That's not obviously not going to happen in the next couple of days. You need some time to work its way up. But there's just a lot of things for price action to now bounce on, which is different than what we were talking about before. So I'm kind of excited. Again, Piper told you I've been in since 50K. So now it's a matter of looking at where do I take profits and start talking about an exit strategy, right? Because I'm looking good right now. And then if we do start breaking some of these key areas of resistance, I can always get back in. And that's the fun part about swing trading, is that you're never out of the game fully. Like, even though you might take profits, you're never necessarily out of the game. Here is another trend line for you guys to keep eye on. I know I'm getting very OC on you right now, a little bit of Mexican spaghetti, but dude, here you go. So look, top. You got confluence right here. I might be the first one that's talking about this. You have confluence of two different trend lines meeting in the same spot. Man, I know the sentiment is bullish, but there could be a little bit of resistance here. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. I'll pass it over to OC. He's going to take a whole different look at it, and we'll see what he's got.
easy now with talk about pullbacks. T. Will lineman for hire might be calling you a bear, talking about it.
I'm
Pullbacks
not
all
a
the time.
I'm not a bear. I just think you'll find resistance, and resistance is normal as you work up and right. You cannot just go full moonshot all the time. Like you got to have little pullbacks or
Exactly.
resistance. It's
An
a wave.
18% pullback
It's a
is
wave.
nothing. And a retest of the golden pocket would actually be very bullish going into October. So,
It's just
OC,
I'm
let's
sitting
kick
pretty
it over.
right now. I'm sitting
Exactly.
pretty now. When I
I'm in a long trade.
when
And I've got my Bitcoin, so I'm good.
when you're sitting pretty, when you put the sunglasses on and you're like, "Hey, I did it, baby. I did it." That's
That's
usually your
right.
sign.
That's
That's
right.
usually your sign. So
That's it. OC, let's jump over to your chart, see what you got, bro. What are you looking at?
Absolutely. I'm looking at this huge downranging motion, right? Remember that in weekly it looks like a bull flag. So right now I'm expecting a little bit of a movement to the upside. And let me just refresh this very quickly. Let's go to the 4 hours so you can see, guys, what I'm looking at this point. On the smaller range, we have a breakout. Sorry about that. And we have this other trend line. So I'm looking for a breakout retest at this point for a continuation. The only thing that Trefel was mentioning, which I also was watching, it is the formation of this possible flip of the ribbon, but it's flattening out. For me, this looks like a little bit of a ugly goose head right here. So for me, a goose head is a further continuation to the upside, for then a pullback and moving to the downside. So let's take a look at for a further or outside a movement here. So let's also analyze these previous areas, right? Where we have teased and break through those areas for fake outs, right? Let's also measure how far will they go or they have gone, right? Something around a 2%, 2.6%. Of course, if we move it up and down, it's going to change a little bit. But look at that. If we measure that, we are kind of like the same area right up there for this maybe pullback up to the upside. We need to be a little bit careful because this could also be another pullback, and that is because we have some heated divergences. Let's go to another chart very quickly and then start using one of these tools, which is the trend regression trend. I have two of those. I have this channel going up. We haven't just yet hitting the top of the channel, which we still have that possible movement to reach the top of the channel before going back down, which is going to again come in place with this one. And also, we have not yet visited the bottom of the channel since 2 days ago, right? So we are on a kind of like a waiting zone. We are right at the median of the channel. I am expecting a little bit of a bullish movement because we're getting at the end of the month. Remember, once again, Pumptober doesn't mean that we're just going to be just pushing up like just up, only up, only up. It means that usually October ends up being higher of what we open up, right? So at this point, if we keep going like we are, we don't have a reversal between this next week or at least this weekend. I think that we're gonna get started somewhere around here. So get started high at 65,900, and October might close up higher, which could mean breakout retest of this huge flag and then a continuation. I like to see that even if we take or if even if we go high and then trickle down to somewhere around 57, I wouldn't mind that because that would be the median of this range, right? But as long as we can break previous highs, I think that will be very, very, very bullish for this trickling down economy. But yeah, that's what I got on Bitcoin. So looking forward to this weekend, I'm expecting or I'm looking at this upranging zone, getting prepared to either break the upside or to the downside. Sorry that. Then turn it back to you guys.
Yeah, I thought you were done there, OC. So I went to go kick it over, and then you kept talking. So I went to go back to you. Went to trade fly. He waved at the camera. Shout out to T. Will. I will say, I was calling for downside for the past 3 weeks. Looking at the weekly candle here, absolutely correct. Sir, can you stop that? Thanks. Absolutely correct. I called for downside. He called to the upside. We got 3 weeks of pumps. But to be fair, I started calling for downside on August 1st. Receipts are in the videos. And that downside move there from August 1st to the bottom was 29% drop. And we're still sitting about 5% down from the time that I said we would be going down. So we're still below where we were when I said the first downside, just the last 3 weeks. Build 100 bridges, you're a bridge maker. Hold one man's hand and it changes everything. Let's jump back over to TradeFly and OC guy over here. So we got Bitcoin pretty much mixed. Like we think that there's great possibility for a pump, but there are some causes for concern to be seen on resistance above us right now. I'm just going to be prepared either way. That's what we've been talking about, is holding that exposure, but also keeping dry powder just in case. So looking at Eric Wallen here, you got a $10 super chat, man, from Eric Wallen, bro. Appreciate you. He said, can you do MicroStrategy? I'm in an MSTX long. If you guys don't know what that is a 2x MicroStrategy play on stocks, and he'd like to close it before a retrace. Absolutely. We can go check that out. We'll do that right now, actually, and then we'll come back around and get into some altcoins. We are a little bit past the top of the hour. So guys, can you go ahead and drop into the chat what you'd like to see? I know there's some up top. Somebody wanted to see Trump and MAGA, and some other ones. So if one of you guys want to pull those meme coins, since they are tearing off and it is one of those politics plays, let's check out that. But let's go check out MicroStrategies right now. Let me pull that up and we'll get onto the screen. Eric Wallen, you said that you wanted to see MicroStrategy, but you're an MSTX long. Do you want to see MicroStrategy or do you want to see MSTX? I think you're wanting to see MicroStrategy, though. That's what you did ask for. So I'll go ahead and start that off, and then we'll get into the others. Let's look here. I have been a bear for months. You're right, since August, and we're still down from then. All right, so looking here, guys, we are approaching back into some all-time highs here on the weekly. Let's drop this over to a daily, see how we're looking here. All right, so we broke the 236. That's a good thing, because that was an area back here of historical resistance that we had. So looking at this one coming up right now, guys, I would say that your first level of resistance coming in is 182.36. I think MicroStrategy is going to get that, because I do believe that we're going to see Bitcoin get a little bit more higher side to go. I think 67K is a reasonable target for the upside on that. And if that happens, I do think that MicroStrategies is going to continue up another, what is this, $8? I would say it's very possible that MicroStrategies comes up to retest its $199 mark here, which was its all-time high back here for local high back in March. So MicroStrategies, I might hold that a little bit longer, bro. If you're really concerned about what's going to happen with the price action, then maybe take some profit off the table. No one's ever gone broke taking profit. But I will point out that we're starting to get overbought, but you can see how many overbought blocks we can print before we actually get that pullback. True 7 has not truly clipped yet. It's starting to right there, but it can continue on that sideways run, and it typically does. There's a little bit there. There's a little bit there. There's a little bit there. So I think that you're going to see this. We're pinged out right now on the 70% of the True 7. I think we are going to get a continuation up to at least $190 if I had to say what I'm seeing on the charts right now. Let me go pull this over to a side-by-side and see how this is looking. I will point out how red we are here. We are buried well past the upper Bollinger Bands. RSI is way higher than normal right now. If this was me, I would consider taking some profits and keeping some to play out a little bit further ahead to the upside. So that's what I would do there. Let's go over to TradeFly. What you looking at, TradeFly? And then we'll come around OC and see what you got on your chart.
You know what I got going. I got the Soul Train, baby. So looking at that,
we need an all aboard.
Yeah, get on. Hop. Oh, that's the one. That's the audio clip I need. I want to get the audio clip. Come on, ride that train. Choo choo, ride it. Whoop. All right, I'm gonna get that. Now I remember, because there was one I was looking for yesterday, and I was like, damn, what was it? All right, now I remember. All right, cool. So there's trades flying mine. It's just all over the place. You can see here, pumpkins, man. Pumpkins are good on this chart. Look how many times we retested this 121. All right, bounce, 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 bounce. We're in a range, and I was pretty confident in that. We came back. Remember, I was at the airport. Here we go, baby. I was at the airport. I was like, hey, we've been here before. I was looking for a bounce, but we had a lot of resistance that was kind of working its way down. We have just slowly kind of like stair stepped our way up. So we came up, point of control, dynamic reactor. We got on top of it, got the OC retest, baby. There it is. There it is. Proof in the pudding. Got the OC retest, came up. And then you got the smart target. There again. So that's what I'm talking about. Chart prime for the win. Again, it hit. All right. Gave you the breakout, gave you the smart target. You ain't have to do nothing but follow what chart prime told you to do. All right. Then it came up to the 200 SMA. And I think I talked about that last night. That personally, that is where I would have exited. If I were to play from here to here, I would exit it right there. Just based on, knowing there's going to be some resistance. And initially you got it. See this candle right here? That's a significant close down before ultimately you came back up and broke through it. Now you got a retest of the 200 SMA. And guess what? This is the level I've been giving you for the longest time, probably since early September. All right, early September. This has been my line in the sand. Go back. I got receipts. 162. This line has been there the entire time. Here it is. Resistance, resistance, big breakdown. Remember, that's how I find significant areas of price action. 162 for Solana. That's what I'm looking at here. I mean, I would like to say the median term, but it looks like it's trying to make it up there pretty quick. You're only $4 away. So here you go, man. 162, that is your high side target in the near term. If you break through it, you're talking about getting up to the value area high again, which is at 170. And you can see there's pretty clear support and resistance in that level. All right. So short-term scalp, intraday type deal. There you go. You'll probably find some resistance. You could ping pong back and forth in there a little bit. There you go, Frankie Candles. Little shout out for you. But then, if you break through that, man, it's fair game. Like, it's going to be pretty hard to assess. Look, the volumes kind of trickles down. You get a peak right about here where the value area high is. There's about a peak in volume. But after that, man, it could be blast off for Solana if we get through all that. So keep your eye on that. Couple significant levels for you to keep an eye on. Let's see. If it does pull back, you got to get underneath of the 200 SMA. Like, if you're looking to get back in this, then you're looking at the dynamic reactor point of control. That's probably where you add to some bags, not financial advice, but where I would be interested in adding to some bags because you've seen support there before. You've seen support, obviously, come down to your oscillator, take a look-see at that. Let me clean this crap up here. That looks terrible. But what I was looking for, as you can see, was this, the trend up and right. Don't know why I have two, but that's okay. I was looking for a trend up and right. Obviously, we got that now. Because it's moving so hard, look at how quick the oscillator reset. Look at this, came down, and then it's already like starting to work its way back up. It's almost like just hitting the top and just like hitting its head at the top. That's how strong the move is for Solana right now. So I think 162 is inevitable. And then you have to start looking at, maybe a potential scalp intraday type trade because people are going to get out here based on seeing this on the chart. Remember, this is why I love crypto. It's not large cap like Apple or Google or any of those stocks, right? A lot of people are looking at the charts. So you could probably catch a quick scalp here for about 1% on the way down. I'm not saying that it's going to like have a big pullback. I'm just saying there's a potential there for a quick scalp. So look at that number 162, draw a line in the sand for yourselves, put that on your charts. I think that's a key level. And that is what I'm looking at for Solana.
Awesome. Let's jump over to OC. What you got for us, bro?
Well, you request or somebody requested Trump. I'm not 100% sure if it's just Trump USDT or baby Trump. So just to make sure that we're not talking about Trump, you just have a couple of candles, even in the 12 minutes, 3 minutes. I mean, this is, I don't think that we can do an analysis on this. It's just a few information to do it. I just wanted to bring it up just so you guys see that we tried, but a TA will not be possible. Nonetheless, if you're looking at baby Trump, this one we can do an analysis. It's pretty much dead, but we have kind of like a breakout at this point. Let me zoom in. Remember that we are in the 4 hours really quick. It's not about the breakout, it's about the retest, but this retest doesn't seem think that it's going to be holding, especially because we have a couple of bearish divergences. We're going to the zero line, and volume seems to be decreasing as well as money flow. There's just a little chance in here that we are able to respect this trend line here and make it slightly past the dynamic reactor, and the money flow jumps back in, so we can do a flip of the ribbon. But until I see the flip of the ribbon, I will not be counting into jumping into a baby Trump, not just now. Why? Look at what had happened with this big body candle, sorry, big wicks, right? We usually reverse from them, right? Even with the smallest one, when we have a smaller but bigger than usual wick at the bottom, we do see that reversal, right? But at this point, we had two at the top and none at the bottom. So I don't think that we're just ready yet to make that pump movement. Nonetheless, if you're planning to just to play your odds, I think you are in a in a good area to start, kind of like a DCA in. And I say this with quotations because this is a meme coin. So if you're willing to jump in and hold your position, I think this is still a good area just to put it in and hold it. Because let's take a look at the daily here very quickly. I mean, I don't think that has gone pretty much lower than, I mean, this other party here, right? Other than that, I think this is the lowest that we have seen, or the lowest area that we have seen. This one here, and I mean the only two other lowest areas are these ones. But I just at the very beginning, so I would say that buying between these two lines, it's good enough to go visit dynamic reactor eventually, and then bounce from it. But also, if Trump start making its way back into, I don't know, bringing up the hypes, I think we could be seeing a couple of big body candles just like messing with this chart. Other than that, that's what I got on baby Trump. And before I throw it back to you guys, I'm looking at Blur. That will be for the next round.
Awesome. Let's jump in here. Let's take a look at Caspa. We had a request for that, guys. I'm actually seeing some good stuff on Caspa. Let's start with the daily right now. Take a look at this. And when we see the quantum and dynamic reactors, that's the quantum reactor right there, dynamic reactor right there, gave us perfect wick bounce support off of that to the upside, now breaking the 100-day. So we're sitting above the 300-day, 200-day, 50-day, and 100-day simple moving averages on Caspa. I would say the next target, guys, shooting for 17.8 cents here. That's going to be your phase 9 golden pocket. Right above that, because we did just also break the point of control, is sitting your value area high. I think that value area high would be a good target also. Let's come over here. Let's just go ahead and put a resistance range in here off of that value area high down to that phase 9 golden pocket. That's going to be the area that I would watch for any type of resistance. But right now, looking pretty healthy on the oscillators too. You can see that here on the oscillator, we did get a turn up of that money flow. That is the money flow right there, the wave, and it is pointing to the upside. The volume is green, but it is starting to gray out, so keep an eye on that also. That's going to actually play out if we hit that range that I just talked about for resistance above us. I had to turn that red again, because as this starts to cool off here and this money flow this price action gets up to here, this money flow is still in the red. So keep that in mind. It's not green yet. As that volume slows down, that would be the rejection zone that I would watch there. But right now, I do think we still have some upside move coming on Caspa over the next over this weekend and into next week, as long as Bitcoin continues its upward momentum. Let's go ahead and throw a side-by-side on this, and let's check out and see what the RSI Prime is telling us. Yeah, RSI is looking very solid for continuation. We're getting a nice bounce off that 50% line. Can I draw into that? Thanks. 50% line of the Bollinger Bands, and we're starting to get tight here. When we start to get these tightenings, guys, last time we had a move to the downside, but if you go back and look, when it starts to get tight in other areas, you can see like right in here, it's starting to get pretty tight. Big wide area, tightened up, created an upside movement. So being that we're not red yet, getting that tightening, and we're still coming off of the green colors, I would say that we still have, yes, a continuation to upside. That would put us, if you look here, because that price is, it's locked. You put us at that price of where we are over here. That is coming in right on line with that that top side of the Bollinger Band. So I would watch for a pullback there. Might even be a good short setup if you wanted to do a short on CAS for another pullback. That level again coming in at about a 17.8 cents there. So, call it 18 and round it up. You'll be good to go. Let's jump over to TradeFly. See what you got, bro.
Right on, right on. I got Coinbase up. Why do I have Coinbase up? Because we talked about that probably about a week ago. This green line right here was a buy zone for me. All right. Now that was based on seeing this selling pressure off this wick right here, seeing support, seeing resistance. Man, I'll tell you what, one thing about like traditional stocks, their charts are so much more clear in terms of finding support and resistance. So this was a buy zone for me at 162. We talked about that a little bit. You also had this falling wedge. Again, chart prime. If you think it works on crypto, it works very well on stocks. So definitely take a look see at that. Breakout, smart target. Now, this is Confluence City, bro. If I've seen Confluence, this is it. I mean, you got the 200, the 50, the dynamic reactor, and the dynamic support and resistance zones indicator all lining up in one spot at about 199. We'll say low side 193, and smart target's about 195. So Confluence City right here, that's obviously going to be the exit. Not saying it won't go through there, but from here to there, beautiful, beautiful trade here. Let's go ahead and measure that. Let's even say that you guys didn't get in here. Let's say you got in at, let's say this one right here. All right. Even that move itself. Let's go to the bottom of that too, because I'm always conservative. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. It's about 12% move. So beautiful, beautiful setup on Coinbase. Top side here, again, we're looking at about, I'd say 190 conservatively. If it pulls back, keep this on your chart, 161, and then you can put this as a low side, 150. But I think if it does pull back, this is where you're looking for a bounce. For sure, for sure. I mean, send alert. Here you go. Boom. I'm doing it. Everybody should be doing it. It's like CDO. Set your alerts at 161 for Coinbase, or 161. And then top side, you're again looking at about 190. If we break through, you guys can see what's clear on the charts here. All right. So I already have a level at about 240 or so. Dynamic support and resistance zones is kind of aligning with me. It's at about 136. But yeah, man, I think it's fair game if we get over this. All right. So again, I look for the OC retest, right? Stair step. You know, that's this thing we look for. You get that retest right here. You get a breakout, retest, boom. That's what I'm always talking about. Breakout, retest, boom. There you go. That's what I'd be looking for coin. Yeah, very, very simple right now.
Awesome. OC, what you got for us, bro?
I'm looking at Blur right now. So Blur is looking pretty good, but still we need to be a little bit careful here. Remember, this is not financial advice, but what I'm seeing in the charts at this moment, it is a possible symmetrical triangle. This is on the 4 hours. Just so you adjust your time frame if you are watching it also, right? Something like this. At this point, we have not been able to break through. And what's going to be my possible target? There is also some confluence area up here. Let me just bring it up. There we go. All the way up here. So we have some free space, right? I mean, the area of opportunities all the way from here to there, right? We are already at exactly half of that way through, and we could be maybe making it our way up there. As you can see, I have two alerts. I have one alert right here at 0.22 in case we break down. Well, then I'll be willing to jump in for a possible retest or breakout retest. Why? Because we have a soft order block, so maybe breaking down right here, going for the retest, and then a continuation to the dynamic reactor. That will make sense. Take a look at this other liquidity area here and the order block that is also overlapping that liquidity area. If we start breaking or pushing upwards to the upside, again, well, look at that. We have another liquidity area, which is going to be breakout retest, and off we go. So let's just take a look at the possibilities here. If I'm aiming to the upside, I could be aiming at a 18%. If I'm doing 10x, that will be a 181%. So that is pretty juicy. If I'm looking at the downside here, let's see. once again, I could be looking at, let's just pretend that I don't get exactly the best case scenario. I will be looking at a 14%, very close to that 18%, which is going to be a 10x, a 143, right? So that's what I'm looking at this symmetrical triangle. And why did I give 2 targets, guys? That is because a symmetrical triangle, it's a 50-50% chance of breaking up or down. Nonetheless, we are above the dynamic reactor. We have a 9 on prime score, and we're still above the 0 line. Does that mean that we're going to be pushing upwards? No. But does that mean that we should be favoring longs over shorts? Yes, absolutely. And that will be at support, right? So at this point, what I'm going to be waiting for, it is that flip of the ribbon at the 0 line in here. And if that happens, most likely I'm going to be breaking down or break down, going back down, flip of the ribbon, right? Flip of the ribbon, and then off we go. For the bearish scenario, I'll be waiting for the opposite, a breakdown, then breaking through the 0 line, and that will be my shorting signal. So that's what I'm looking on Blur. Still, whatever it does throughout this weekend, I think it's going to be great. And something I want to just clarify very, very fast before I throw it back to you guys, it is that when I mentioned I'm looking for the range to break on Bitcoin because it could be going up or down, I mean, obviously, right? But I was talking about the 50 minutes ranging here because that will be defining, let me clear this up a little bit, that will be defining what I'm going to be doing through the weekend, right? Basically, this range right here, if I break it to the upside and go for a retest, I'm gonna be longing it on the weekend, most likely Tuesday. If it breaks to a downside, I'm gonna be shorting it through the weekend and most likely continuing to short it on Monday. So that's just a little qualification because of course it either goes up or down, right? So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Awesome. Let's jump over here. I want to give you guys one little piece of hopium, one little piece of reality. Okay. Looking at the 5-day here on Bitcoin, bottom line is Bitcoin has got to break $68,000 and continue to the upside, or at least break it. And if it's going to pull back, come back to retest the 200-day. And here's why I say that, because anything other than that, looking at the 5-day chart here, this is a high, this is a lower high, this is a lower high, this would be a lower high. We're coming into that resistance level at about 67,000. If we don't get through that, we're just creating a lower high. We've got lower lows already in play with it. And so that's the reality of that. You want your hopium though. Here's your hopium. Let's throw on a Gaussian channel and look at what just happened here on the 5-day chart, guys. We have the median here of the Gaussian channel, and we got our bounce off of it. Historically, when we do that, it leads to the upside during a bull market. Just like when we're in a bear market and we break beneath it and retest it rejection, that is when we see that downside move. You can even come beneath it and have a continuation there of bullishness off this median on the Gaussian channel. Go back to the last cycle, take a look at what happened there. Come in, even on the way down from the tops, it was that median that was our support, and then became our resistance. And you can see these play out very well with the 200 days. So looking at this right now at the current level, if we break $68,000, that's 68 2, we'll call it 68,200. Then we are very likely changing our trend. Right now, the trend is a downward trend. The trend is your friend till the end. The end of that trend of being a downward trend would change as soon as we break the $68,200 level. Why? Because now we created a higher high, broke that trend of lower highs, and then that would be the place to go off of. And it would make me even more bullish to do that because we just had a successful test of the median on that Gaussian channel. So I just wanted to lay that out for you guys there. That's the bottom line. Is the price moving up? Yes. Do I think that it still has a little bit higher to go? Yes. But we are approaching key resistance at $67,000. And if we break that, then we have to break 68.2, or we have done nothing but create a lower high and set ourselves up for a trend continuation. The trend right now for 3 weeks, yes, up. But the trend right now since March, downward, and unless we break $68,200, that continuation is downside trend moving forward again. So I just wanted to put that out there. That's your dose of reality, but a little bit of hopium. We did get a median bounce on the Gaussian channel. That makes me bullish. So
I could not agree more, and that is why I'm thinking about cashing out, because like you said, we could just be setting a lower high. And so for me, I think I'm going to take the profits and I'm going to wait and I'm going to see what happens and how we interact with that level, because right now I know I got them locked in. I'm comfortable. I feel good about where I'm at, and that's just part of the game, guys. Have an exit strategy and stick to it. And that's exactly why I'm looking at getting out. If we get on top of that and we retest it and we go up, up and away, outstanding. I can get back in.
yeah, I would say if you are looking to take profits, because you got a lot of profits. If you're looking to take profits, I would do it once it rejects on that $68,200 level, or 67 to 68 too. I wouldn't do it before that, because you could have several days of retesting that level before it breaks through. So, and it's that's really going to be the telling point. $68,200 is the telling point. So, if we break that, then it's on like Donkey Kong. If we don't, welcome to a lower high, and your trend is not your friend right now. So, OC, thoughts?
Sorry for that. Yep. Only
He's
up
good for the
then. I was
smiles.
a little distracted. Well, I was selling some ADA, by the way. I was selling some ADA. Right now here. Why I'm risking off of an ADA. I think we are overextended, and despite it could be going a little bit up, well, then I'm not pulling out completely. Well, I was not looking at it. I was
Oh,
on my personal account. Yeah,
gotcha.
on bluffing. Yeah, I was trading it right now. I sold some ADA, not much, just risking out a little bit. Let me just well, I had it right here if you want to pull it right now. So there we go. At this point, we have broken this previous high. We're going into massive resistance at this area right here. Look at how we are also rejecting a little bit of it, and we're building up those divergences. Can we still go up? Absolutely. But I do think that we're going to have a little bit of a pullback. How big of a pullback? I think to the dynamic reactor, or at least this bouncing here back at this area. But just in case, I'm risking out a little bit because we are getting also tight in the clouds, and we could very much do something like that. If I'm missing out into the next movement, that's fine because I'm still in. So I will be earning regardless, right? The next point of target for if Bitcoin goes up, I think ADA will also go up, and it's going to be 0.45. But if it goes down, I'll be looking somewhere around this 0.30, 33 for the next reallocation of my profits right now. But other than that,
Yep.
yeah, turning it back to you guys, and I do agree with you that we're gonna be seeing a couple of a little bit more to the upside, and we need to wait for that rejection. Yep.
Yeah, I'm actually in a long on Bitcoin right now, up about $100, about 10%. So yeah, I do think we have upside coming still. I just know that we've got some key levels that we need to watch there. It's like danger points, right? You're walking downtown in the evening. You come up on a dark area where the lights out, and there's a dark alley right there, and you go, you know what? This area might be a little bit dangerous, right? So you prepare for that. That's right. You're heightening those senses up a little bit going through that area. That's all I'm saying, guys. Be aware of that $67,000 resistance of the quantum reactor. Be aware that 68.2 is the level that we have got to break in order to continue and not create a lower high. That's all I'm saying, man. Don't be scared. Be prepared, right? That's what we say here. But that's all we got time for today. Tradefly, I love the sound effect, dude. Do you have anything for the people on the way out before we go raid Randy Hipper's show?
Nah, man, I don't have nothing much. Honestly, I hope everyone is having a great day today, and I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for joining us on the show. It's truly appreciated. This is why we do it. It's for you guys. So again, have a good one. Trade safe. Be careful out there. And come join us next week on the Crypto Nightcap. Again, we're still trying to outpace the morning show. We are trying. Yesterday, I don't think we made it, but the day before we did. So help us out in that journey. We would truly appreciate it. And with that, I'm out of here. You guys have a great weekend. And OC is about to tell you what happens if you smash that like button.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining today. A quick reminder to click that like button because if you do, you're gonna lose your credit cards. And for now, let me tell you that that will be a good thing. Why? Because October is coming, and despite this is my favorite holiday, that is a money grab. Save for the upcoming Black Friday. So lose it maybe in some place safe that you don't need to spend it. Click that like little button so you don't spend on useless things. So you can get more useless things on Black Friday. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining and throw it back to you guys.
I love
Hey,
Black
quick plug
Friday,
real
man.
quick plug. Hey, Polio, I heard you yesterday or saw you in the chat, said you wanted to get in on Crypto Nightcap. Hit me up on X, brother. Let me know, and we will get you on next week. All right, so hit me up on X.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us here today on Piper Academy, the Morning Market Report. Going a little bit longer today than normal, but I had to lay some stuff out there, guys. I do think we have some upside coming. Keep an eye on those levels, guys. And if you're trading, make that money, but make sure that you are protecting yourself with either extra dry powder to add to that trade or maybe a stop loss. I don't know. It's your choice, guys. We'll catch you later. Let's go raid Randy Hipper's house. We're out of here. Peace.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you will part of that numb, not a sore spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall off. Sound off.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude.